Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's time for another HyperForce recap, or should I say shipping force, because that's what this episode was about. It was all about shipping, and I was a part of it. Am I ashamed? No. Also, I got a haircut, so I look different, and I'm doing No Shave November for some odd reason, but here I am looking like a grown person. That's not important, but let's get on to this recap. So we left off with Jack dying, and his heart is just like, ee. Marvin's like, Alpha 55, what can we do? Like, we need to do something, we gotta revive Jack. And while this is happening, the ship is taking damage from the Alliance leadership. Marvin tries to do CPR on Jack, trying to pump out his chest, 1,000, 2,000, staying alive. Okay, Chloe was trying to talk to Jack, like, hey Jack, I know you're in there, like, please wake up. And she does a couple of slaps, and that doesn't work. Vesper goes out and finds a defibrillator, but deep down inside, we know she meant defibrillator. That was a little thing going on in the episode where she couldn't pronounce defibrillator. So Vesper's like, 1, 2, 3, clear. And Jack wakes up. Well, he doesn't wake up. He just gains conscience. So, like, he's still asleep, but he's okay. He made it through death. He cheated death. He's gained conscience, but his body isn't awake. We just know that he's alive. Eddie remembers, like, during the tour of the ship, I remember seeing weapons. Maybe we can use that to fight back the Alliance. Alpha 55 tells him to step up and be a leader. So that's what he does. He is a leader for this episode. Alpha 55 is like, said that there was 5 different weapon rooms where you can go inside and like shoot cannons. So Marvin's like, okay, Vesper and Chloe, you go to the ones downstairs. Me and Eddie will go to the ones upstairs. Before Marvin goes up, he looks at Jack, and they have this moment where, like, I know I haven't been the best partner. It was more of their backstory. Marvin's like, you know, I'm not. Sometimes I look like I'm playing around, but sometimes I get serious when I need to be. And it was a really touching moment. The acting, like, I imagined it, like, if it was on TV, you know, I would have just been like, don't you do this, man, don't you do this. At this point, the ship has no power, so they can't move and dodge the bullets, but they notice that the Alliance leader is shooting from the ground and not from the sky. What Vesper wants to do is crash land the ship onto the Alliance leadership. But the thing is, they can't, because there's people still living in Angel Grove in their time. So they can't do anything that can affect the timeline of Power Rangers. The 4 of them are together trying to think of an attack or how to defend themselves. But we go back to Jack, where he wakes up from his little coma and he's a little lightheaded, trying to figure out what's going on. So when Jack wakes up, he morphs into action.
HyperForce! Yellow! Ready! Power up!
And he meets up with the other guys. So right now they're trying to think, what can they do to stop this from happening. And then Chloe's like, we can use our swords. But then Vesper was like, I'm not even sure if we have any swords, because, you know, we're still new to these powers. We don't know what we have, what we don't have. Jack comes in and was like, you know what, I still have this vortex cannon from the first episode, the one they use on the Alliance leader. So they all come together and they hold it and they shoot. At the same time, the Alliance leader shoots his attack, and it's like almost gonna collide, but then they just miss each other by a little bit. The Alliance leader wasn't shooting at them, he was shooting behind them, which I believe they said it was the engine. So then the engine blows up, and at the same time the vortex cannon blast hits the Alliance leader, and they boom, explosions happen. And then the Alliance leader looks up in the sky and tells him, don't interfere or you'll die. After that, he just vanishes and goes somewhere else. I believe he probably went to a different time. And then the HyperForce ship is like slowly going down. They didn't crash. I think it just had a rough landing. So yeah, they just landed on the ground. I think it was like somewhere in the park, and it was like at night, so no one was really there. Vesper wants to go and see the engine room to see what they need or what's heavily damaged, and Chloe decides to go with her. And then they see that the hyperdrive, the thing that lets them go, the thing that lets them travel through time, is completely busted. And Vesper is like, I guess we have to stay in 1994 until we get the right technology or the right equipment to fix this, but right now we can't do much, we gotta stay here. Eddie decides to go down to the engine room to see what he thinks of the situation. And at the same time, Chloe was looking around the ship to see if there was a toolkit. So while those 3 were in the engine room trying to figure out what's going on, so Marvin goes to Jack and they have a little conversation. And Jack remembers what Marvin told him during his little coma. He heard every word that Marvin said, and that kind of brought them closer together. So after a while, like a few hours later, Alpha 55 is like, okay, I'm sorry, this is my fault. I should be the one to blame because I'm not the best navigator. But then everyone starts to blame themselves. Marvin's like, you know what, I'm sorry because I rushed things. I just wanted to get the job done. So Eddie checks the morphing grid and he sees that some Rangers are missing from the morphing grid. How is that possible? So they're thinking that the Alliance leader is going through time, erasing them all. Vesper tells them that they might have to stay in 1994 for a while until she finds good equipment to fix the ship. But it's funny because she suggests using Alpha's body parts to fix the ship, and it was a good laugh. So Jack suggests that they should hide the ship in the park, in the lake, so they hide it underwater and hopefully no one notices. So they all power down, and then Vesper's like, oh no, I love being morphed because it feels like someone's hugging me in those tights. And then Smooth Eddie comes along, is like, yo girl, I can hug you. I can be the suit for you for a while. And Vesper's like, okay. And then Eddie hugs Vesper. And this is where the ship comes in. This is where it starts. Smooth Eddie started it all. If you see fan art of people hooking up with one another, you can blame Eddie for being smooth. They start to discover what they're dealing with. They see that Jack has a wound from where he got attacked, and they notice that it wasn't a wound from like a gun. It looks more like magic, and they start to discuss that magic doesn't really exist. But then Eddie remembers that there are some Power Rangers that use magic. After they discuss, they decide to just depart. Vesper goes to her room and to take a nap. Marvin and Eddie, they go to the training room and train. Chloe and Jack, they explore the kitchen, I think, if I remember correctly, or just explore. After they depart ways, this is where they had a little montage of each character having a discussion with one another. This is where the ships happen. This is where it starts. If Smooth Eddie didn't start it, then this is where it officially started. So Vesper goes up to Eddie and tells him that he's a smart guy and she needs help to fix the ship. She wants Eddie to go with her to go into town and buy some new equipment. And Eddie was like, sure, like, is this a date? And then Vesper's like, yeah, sure. I would love to hang out with my Ranger buddy. Ooh, Eddie, bro. You were Ranger Zone. It's okay. It's okay, man. We've all been there. We know your pain, man. Hey, man. It's only the 3rd episode. Anything can happen, right? Just hold on to that dream, man. Hold on. Marvin and Chloe wanted to go train, and Alpha 55 suggests that if they really want to have a good training, they go to the Pocket Dimension. The Pocket Dimension is pretty much a room where they use holograms to train. You can change the difficulty of how hard you want the training to be. So Marvin suggested they can do training with a dummy version of the Alliance leader. This is where these two get shipped. The teamwork they have is so in sync. Everyone falls in love with Marvin and Chloe. And to me, they become Marlowe. Jack walks around and they see a little monitor of what they're doing, and to them it looks 8-bit, so it's like a little video game they're seeing, and it's Marvin and Chloe riding on rainbows and fighting an Alliance leader. Chloe invents a new breakfast burrito where the bread, instead of the tortilla, it's a pancake, I believe, and inside it is just like waffles, eggs, bacon, sausage, and decides to give it to Jack. So Jack takes a bite out of it and he's like, you know what, this is a really great burrito. It reminds me of back in our time where my mom used to make a burrito like this. Not a burrito, I think it was just breakfast like this, and it tastes exactly like this. Like, what did you use for the ingredients? And Chloe was like, oh, there was this weird thing behind the fridge and it looks really good, so I used it and it made my burrito taste really good. So Vesper and Eddie again. Eddie's trying to make a burger, trying to use this machine. I think it was kind of like a toast. I imagine kind of like a toaster. I forgot what was the thing to use, but he doesn't know how to work the machine. So then Vesper comes like, hey Eddie, can I talk to you for a minute, like by ourselves? And then Smooth Eddie's like, yeah, sure girl, we can talk wherever you want, whenever you want. So Vesper takes Eddie somewhere like outside of the room, and then Vesper tells Eddie like, oh, you know, I never would imagine me becoming friends with all of you guys. Like, I've always wanted to be a better Black Ranger, and now since I am already a Black Ranger, then I think it's time for me to be a better Vesper. Eddie's like, oh, you're perfect just the way you are. You know, you're smart. You have good ideas. You know, you use that brain to work, and I appreciate that. Vesper's like, I got you a gift. I hope you appreciate it. And then when Eddie opens it, he's like, oh wow, it's a wrench that looks like me. I don't know. It's a wrench. You know what? This is amazing. This is a perfect ship. Hey, ship it, Eddie. Don't worry, man. Look at that. You got a present from Vesper, and Vesper doesn't give presents to anyone, I think. I don't know. But look at you. You're not Ranger Zone, man. You got a present. You're moving up. You're moving up there, man. Alright? I ship Vesper and Eddie like all the way. You know what? Vesper and Eddie? make ready. So then he's like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. And then they go back in to make burgers, and that's how montages work. Chloe wants to talk to Eddie about history, but Eddie's like, you know what, nah girl, your friend, you're getting in the way of my friendship with Marvin. And Chloe's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I just want to become friends with all of you. And then Eddie's like, nope, it's cool, you know what, I don't need you, I don't need this, alright, I'm gonna bounce out of here. You have fun with Marvin, alright, I have my own stuff to do. So after the montage, they get a message, a holographic message from who? The one, the only, Scorpina. Yeah, you remember her? I don't really remember her because I wasn't born when she was aired on Power Rangers. But I do know Scorpina. I do know about her. She was in a couple episodes and then she never returned ever again. She was like, I'm gonna get my revenge on you, Power Rangers, and she never did. So this is probably how they're gonna fix the gap on that. They get a message from Scorpina and they want to know where she is. Eddie knows that she's evil and they need to stop her for whatever she's thinking. And this is where Vesper comes in with new weapons. Vesper's like, you know what, I made these weapons specifically for you guys, and I made it with love. And you know how I know she made it with love? Because she took Alpha's ankles to make it. She ripped off a piece of Alpha 55 to make these weapons. So before they prepare to go, Alpha 55 is like, alright guys, if you guys are gonna do this, you guys have to blend in. You guys have to make sure you do this quiet and quickly, because we don't want the Power Rangers from this timeline to come and find out what's going on. So they go to Angel Grove. They have matching overalls with backward hats, you know, trying to blend in the 90s. They detect her energy in the library, the Angel Grove library. So they go in and they don't see her. They see normal people just reading in the library. So they're in the library and they're like, we don't see anyone. There's just normal people reading books, librarians over there doing their job. So Eddie tells Marvin like, hey, from what I've read, that I heard that Scorpina can change her form and can transform to anyone. She could be one of these normal civilians. So they decide to separate and look for clues. And it's funny because seeing how they're from the future, the technology in the library isn't that good. So Vesper looks and tells the others that there is a box and there's a game called Oregon Trail. She made a joke about Oregon Trail. I just can't remember what it is. They see this lady, she's reading a book to these kids. And Vesper's like, we should send one of our women killers to go talk to them. And then Eddie and Marvin at the same time were like, oh, that's obviously me. And then I laughed because you can see Marvin flirting with Vesper and Chloe sometimes, and you see Smooth Eddie being smooth with Vesper. So who is the woman killer? So you know, they were like, you know what, we'll both go confront her and see what we can do. So when they go up to her, they're like, hey, how's it going, lady? And she introduces herself as Sabrina, and I believe that is Scorpina's alter ego in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 2. She pretended to be a student and asked Adam out on a date. So when they're talking, Marvin tries really hard to like talk to her and try to impress her, but she just gets annoyed and like tells Eddie like, your friend is a little bit annoying, can you tell him to back off? So then Eddie's like, yeah man, come on Marvin, back off, like get out of here. And then so Eddie's under her charm and he just tells Marvin to back off. So he just starts talking to Sabrina and Marvin doesn't know what to do. So he goes back to his teammates and tells them, he's like, hey, Eddie's acting weird, he's being mean to me, like I don't know what to do. So Chloe decides to call Alpha and it's like, hey Alpha, Eddie's looking at the Sabrina lady really weird, like how he looks at burritos. And then Alpha becomes savage and is like, don't you look at burritos the same way? And then Chloe starts yelling like, Alpha, how dare you? And then they're like, you're in the library, you gotta keep it down. Sabrina tells Eddie that some mysterious figure came up to her asking about some plan, but she denied it and she doesn't want to be part of it. So Eddie wants to learn more about this plan. Vesper goes up to Sabrina and Eddie's like, hey, you're my boyfriend and I don't like you flirting with him. And everyone in the chat got wild because this was amazing. This is what we wanted. The ship. Eddie, you got it. She called you her boyfriend. You did it, man. Like, congratulations. You did it. You are Vetty. So Sabrina's like, I know you guys are. I don't know where you guys are. You guys are a group of teenagers who were wearing the same clothes. You guys are, your friends over there are just together staring at me, like making it obvious. Like I know what you guys are, so it's time for me to get out of here. So the lights turn off in the library and she's gone. So when the lights go out, they try to tell everyone to get out of the building, that something's going on, but no one wants to leave. So then Marvin's like, you know what we gotta do, and you know what, we gotta do something. So I got an idea. So Marvin goes on top of a table, the way I imagined it. He goes on top and he starts yelling, there's a tornado coming, everyone leave, go to safety, there's an earthquake happening, there's storms, you gotta get out, you gotta go somewhere safe. And people are just looking at him like, oh my god, he's crazy, like what do we do? So when they're telling people to leave, this little girl that comes up to Marvin's like, I remember you were with me on the day of Halloween. And then Marvin's like, yes, I remember you were a fairy princess, like you were strong, you were brave to go inside that haunted house, and like I need you to do the same thing here, okay? I need you to be brave and tell people to get out of here. And she's like, my parents told me not to talk to strangers though. And then Chloe comes in and is like, oh, I have some candy from Halloween. Like, here, you can have them. Go out there and be a brave fairy princess. So Scorpina is in the entrance talking to these dark shadow silhouettes. That's the way they describe them. They know that she's trying to plot something. They're trying their best to get people out of the library. And it's not working. Vesper is saying, like, oh, this guy's crazy, man. You gotta get out of here before this crazy person does something crazy. And then Jackie's like, oh, we're here filming a music video. That's why we're all wearing matching outfits. Matching overalls with our hats on backwards. So it turns out one of the silhouettes one of the shadows that Sabrina/Scorpina was talking to was Volcanos. He is the villain for the series, sort of. There's two of them. I think there was two monsters that they had to fight. So when Volcanos shows up, Marvin tells people to hide and they escort everyone. Jack and Eddie went to highlight some librarians, and it's morphin' time. So this episode is kind of weird because they were fighting in a library, and I imagine it funny and weird. And they said that there was books flying everywhere, books were being created into monsters, and I was like, oh my god, it's my worst nightmare coming true. Each weapon they had two forms. I know Marvin used like his claw form for his weapon. Chloe used a bow and arrow. Vesper used a disc. Jack has a hammer, and Eddie uses a trident, I believe. And you know what? I think Eddie has the best weapon. Maybe I'm just being biased. I mean, I love my Blue Ranger, and I love like lances and spears. Those are the best weapons anyone can have. But yeah, they defeated the monsters that turned in paper, and there was one giant monster, I believe, that was transforming, but they were able to stop it in time before he was not like a giant monster, but like a big monster, you know, like a normal sized monster that every Power Ranger fights. But they managed to stop him just in time, and I think they only got it up to his waist. But yeah, and then Volcanus actually escaped from the battle. Volcanus tries to leave and goes through the front door. Like, a monster goes through the front door. Like, what? He doesn't make... I can see them teleporting from like their like where they are to their base, but no, this guy just boom walks out the library like, alright, peace out, Holmes. So Chloe goes out the door and tries to shoot, but he's already gone. So what they do is they go back to their ship. So before this happens, Scorpina was talking with the two creatures, and they overheard her saying that she wants the help of Rita and Zed, and they want the clay that Rita uses to create monsters. Why does Scorpina want this? Does she want to make an alliance with Rita and Zed to stop the alliance leader? So Marvin tells Alpha to teleport them back to the ship, and they're there, and then they start discussing what just happened. They're telling them that Scorpina probably wants to use the clay monsters and have them on their side to go and do an all-out war with the alliance leader. And then Jack is like, you know what, maybe we can make an alliance with them. Maybe we can team up with Zed and Rita and Scorpina to defeat this alliance leader. So Jack is like, maybe we need to do what Scorpina is doing and get help from this time to stop the alliance leader from changing the future. And then I was just like, ooh, y'all trying to get some OG Rangers to come up in this show and fight alongside you guys. And apparently they already have their next guest character. I'm not going to say it, but I will post a picture somewhere in this file. I'm not going to post a picture because that's spoilers, and I want to keep it as a surprise. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. After that, they go back to the library, demorphed obviously, and they see that they made a big mess of the library. So what they decide to do is help out the librarians clean up the mess. And during this time, this is where Marvin confronts Eddie about him being a jerk. Eddie was like, oh, I'm sorry for being a jerk. I was under her charm. But Marvin's like, you know what? I understand. Chloe was like telling me how you were kind of mad that I've been ignoring you. Like, I've been ignoring you, and I've been getting closer to her instead of you. And I forgot you're my best friend. I have this secret that only you know, and I'm thankful that you were my first and my best friend at the academy. And then Eddie's like, you know what, don't worry about it. Like, I will always be your best friend, like, no matter what. Like, I know I may be jealous sometimes, but you know, it's okay. So Marvin tells Eddie the big secret when they go back to the library. He tells him that he used to be on the force with Jack, and apparently he had this big secret only Jack knows, and because of that secret he was demoted and had to go back to the academy and work his way up to become a cop again. But then this whole thing happened with the alliance, and then Eddie was like, you know what, thanks for telling me this. Like, like, I know it wasn't easy for you, but I know you didn't tell me like the big secret, but it's okay. Like, you don't need to. Like, I'm glad you trust me as a friend, and I'm sorry for being jealous of you and Chloe. And then I was like, it's okay, man. You know, it was besties. They were having a bro moment, and this bro moment made me ship these two, and together they make Marty. So they go back to clean the library, and so a cop comes in and sees the mess that is the mess of a library, and that's where the episode ends. So who is this cop? Does he have any importance? Who knows? We'll find out in the next episode of Power Rangers Shipping Force. I mean HyperForce. HyperForce, not Shipping Force, because shipping is obviously ridiculous when it comes to like fandoms, right? Right? If you guys saw the episode, what did you guys think? Thanks for watching my recaps. I swear I'm trying to like get these out as fast as I can, but then life hits me like a bus. But yeah, I'm trying my best to get these recaps out of here, out there. I've been busy with work, school, and like hopefully during winter break I have more time to do these videos, and hopefully do more videos. Sorry I look like this. It's No Shave November. Got a haircut. Thank you if you like it. Tell me, who do you guys ship? Do you guys ship Vesper and Eddie? Chloe and Marvin? Marvin and Eddie? Marvin and Vesper? Jack and Chloe? Do you ship anyone? Tell me, because I want to have a conversation like this. Because I ship Vesper and Eddie. I ship Marvin and Chloe. And I ship Marvin and Eddie. There's no shame, okay? Leave me alone. Shipping is normal. As always, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Maybe share if you want to. Most importantly, have a great day or night, or wherever you are. Thanks for watching.